So, I've been thinking about this for a bit, and I am like, I think I should just make it into an audiobook format or something like this. Well, not audiobook format, but just put out the idea that I had. So, I was thinking about, I guess, a fantasy world. And it feels hardly, I guess I have a very sharp sense of cringe, but it feels oddly cringe to say this out loud. Yeah, you only live once, I guess. So I wanted to just put this idea out there. So I was thinking, and I just popped into my head that what if there was a world which was broken into levels? Not like the entire world is shattered as if it's glass, and every piece of glass is pushed up, has various elevations, and the absolute lowest levels are under lava, river of lava. And the idea that I had would be that this world has its structure, well, its hierarchy determined by the level of the world you're living on, at the, well, elevation you're at. And it's the reason that would be the reason you would want to live higher up is that, well, the higher you live, it's safer and it's more prosperous up there because there's less heat, because you're not right next to lava. And I had the idea that this world would be like its slums or equivalent would be the lower levels that are just barely habitable. That is the slums that would be of this world, and the highest levels are floating islands. I was like, huh, I think somebody could probably make it into a great idea. So I thought, if I don't make it into an idea, story, if I don't have the skills to do it, boy howdy, there will be somebody out there who can probably make my vision into a reality. So it's just my job to paint you a very beautiful picture. I mean, not paint you a picture for obvious reasons, but make a mental image using words. Like, the world is shattered as if it's it's like there are seas, oceans of lava, and it's shattered such that there are chunks which are basically. Have you ever seen basalt columns? Those hexagonal basalt columns? That, but on a larger scale, and minus the perfect hexagon shape, minus that, and with the elevation, but with, well, normal earth looking ground, but again at the lowest levels, be it lava. And I don't know where water comes in, but I guess water is kind of going to be very rare, well, at the lower levels. And I would think the higher levels would be plentiful in water, and I think that the water that trickles down, the tiddlywinks of water that would come from the very highest tippy tips, would eventually make its way down to the base. And I think the lava level would rise extremely slowly, or maybe just stop rising at this point. Like, but I think the world as a whole would be fairly fun if you could make it a reality. But since I have no skills in this field, I don't think I could. But if I do, it will be probably in an audiobook format. I don't think I would ever publish this because I have no way to publish it, and I'm probably not gonna. I'm just going to make it into audiobooks like this, and just let your imagination will run wild. But for that, I have to write it, and I don't think I would write it in a very long time, for a very long time. So yeah, the plan is, as whatever I've thought up, is that basically basalt columns, which are, I'm not sure that I want them to be perfectly hexagonal. Basalt columns that reach up real high, and that are not, well, tiny, that are like continent sized, and I want them to be the world, and there to be lava at the very base of it, and I think there would be levels below the lava level, but I'm not sure about that. I have not thought that far ahead. But yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do this with this idea, but I think it would be nice to just put it out for somebody with more creative skill and preferably writing skills. Not really, actually, not writing skills, preferably writing and illustrating skills. If you or anyone else has any ideas what to do, just leave them in the comments, because I probably will take them, because well, I think this is just a good idea. Just like imagine for a second floating islands made of rubble that well are very wasteful as with water, and land masses that are very tiered, as if they're like staircases. If you have, I mean, obviously you've probably seen a staircase. I imagine it to be like staircases with just 90-degree sheer cliffs and no slope. It's just like stairs, 90-degree stairs. Well, this the cliffs are just 90-degree shears, and the overall idea of each tiered area would be like basalt columns, and I think there would be several of these, like all across the world, and they probably would be divided with rivers of lava, and that's about as far as I've thought. I don't know what else I would think to add in this type of a world, and I have no other idea to what to do with this thought. So I'm going to give it to you, internet, and if I have any good ideas, I may work on it individually. But this is my idea, and I think somebody who watches it probably has a skill to actually do the idea justice, unlike me. But again, this is just an idea. I hope you guys do it some justice, because my idea, I don't have the skills to do it good, do good by it. And if you have any ideas, just leave it in the comments. Another thing that I just thought of is that the people from the lower levels come up to the higher levels, not to the sky islands. That doesn't happen. From the lower levels to the upper levels to steal stuff, because they have a scarcity of stuff and don't have the materials to get better stuff by mining, because well, they're closer to the lava, which provides more natural resources, like well, more natural resources. And the people from the higher levels come down to the lower levels, like the lava levels, not lava levels, just above the lava levels and a bit further, to collect some to collect well, the raw materials that can be found there. There's a lot of traffic up and down, but people coming from the lower levels up is illegal, because when they mostly come to steal, and unless they're coming up with specific channels to specific channels. But people going from up to down is very legal, and you could go down very easily as compared to coming up. Coming up is much harder, and going down would be much easier. So yeah, that was about it for me, that at least for now.